The 18th century saw the Mughal Empire in decline, creating a power vacuum in India. This decline set the stage for a fierce competition among European powers, eager to exploit the situation for their own gain. European powers, particularly the British and French, saw an opportunity to expand their influence. They were not just interested in trade, but also in establishing political dominance. The British East India Company and the French East India Company, both established with trading ambitions, became embroiled in this struggle for control. Their initial focus was on commerce, but the lure of power soon overshadowed their trading goals. Initially, the companies focused on securing trading posts and establishing alliances with local rulers. These alliances were crucial for their survival and expansion in the region. However, their ambitions soon escalated, leading to direct military confrontations. The competition for supremacy turned violent, with both sides amassing troops and resources. These clashes, known as the Carnatic Wars, would shape the destiny of India for centuries to come. The wars were a series of military conflicts that had far-reaching consequences. The Carnatic region, a coastal stretch in southeast India, became the focal point of this struggle. Its strategic importance made it a battleground for control. Its strategic ports and wealthy trading centers made it a prized possession. Control over these ports meant control over trade routes and economic power. As the rivalry intensified, the European powers found themselves increasingly drawn into local disputes, backing opposing sides and further fueling the conflict. These alliances with local rulers were not just strategic, but also a means to exert influence and control over larger territories. The Anglo-French rivalry in India was not just a battle for territory, but also a clash of cultures and ideologies. It set the stage for the eventual British dominance in India, shaping the subcontinent's future in profound ways. The First Carnatic War marked the beginning of the Anglo-French struggle for dominance in India. Triggered by the War of the Austrian Succession in Europe, the conflict spilled over into India, where the British and French supported opposing claimants to the throne of the Carnatic. The French, under the astute leadership of Joseph-François Dupleix, gained an early advantage.
They captured Madras, the crucial British trading post, in 1746. However, the British, with the support of the Nawab of Arcot, Anwaruddin Khan, managed to resist French advances elsewhere.
The war proved indecisive, ending in 1748 with the Treaty of Aix-la-Chapelle. Madras was returned to the British in exchange for Louisbourg in North America. Despite its inconclusive end, the First Carnatic War set the stage for future conflicts, revealing the growing ambitions and military capabilities of both sides. The peace established by the Treaty of Aix-la-Chapelle proved short-lived. Although it temporarily halted the hostilities, underlying tensions and unresolved disputes simmered beneath the surface, waiting for the slightest spark to reignite the conflict. In 1749, the Second Carnatic War erupted, fueled by the ambitions of Dupleix and the machinations of local rulers vying for power. The fragile peace was shattered as rival factions, each backed by European powers, clashed in a bid for dominance. Dupleix, recognizing the potential of playing Indian rulers against each other, adopted a policy of supporting puppet rulers. This strategy aimed to extend French influence by installing leaders who would be loyal to French interests, thereby creating a network of dependent states.
He backed Chunda Sahib's claim to the throne of Arcot and Muzaffar Jung's claim to the Hyderabad Deccan, placing them in direct conflict with British-backed candidates. This maneuvering set the stage for a series of confrontations that would determine the future balance of power in the region. The war saw a series of battles and sieges, with both sides employing European military tactics and Indian sepoys. These engagements were marked by their intensity and the strategic use of local knowledge combined with European military discipline. Robert Clive, a young clerk in the British East India Company, rose to prominence during this conflict. His keen strategic mind and bold actions quickly distinguished him from his peers, earning him a reputation as a formidable military leader.
His daring capture of Arcot and subsequent victory at Arni demonstrated the effectiveness of British military leadership. These victories not only boosted British morale, but also showcased Clive's ability to outmaneuver and outthink his opponents, and helped turn the tide of the war. However, the war ended in 1754 with another inconclusive treaty, the Treaty of Pondicherry. This agreement, much like its predecessor, failed to resolve the underlying issues, leaving both sides dissatisfied and the region in a state of uneasy peace. While the French retained some influence, the British, under Clive's leadership, had demonstrated their growing military prowess and political acumen. This period marked the beginning of a shift in power, with the British gradually asserting their dominance in India, setting the stage for future conflicts and the eventual establishment of British colonial rule. Section 4, the Third Carnatic War, 1758 to 1763, decisive battles and the Treaty of Paris. The Third Carnatic War, fought between 1758 and 1763, proved decisive in shaping the balance of power in India. This conflict was not just a regional skirmish, but a significant chapter in the larger global struggle for supremacy between Britain and France.
This time, the conflict was directly linked to the 7 Years' War raging in Europe, pitting Britain against France on a global scale. The battles fought in India were a crucial part of this worldwide confrontation, influencing the outcome of the war in Europe and vice versa.
The war witnessed some of the most significant battles in the Anglo-French rivalry. These battles were not only about territorial gains, but also about establishing economic dominance and control over the lucrative trade routes in the Indian subcontinent. The Battle of Wandiwash in 1760, a decisive British victory under the command of Sir Eyre Coote, effectively ended French hopes of dominance in the south. This battle was a turning point showcasing British military strategy and the effective use of their resources. The British, led by astute commanders like Coote and aided by superior naval power, captured key French strongholds, including Pondicherry, the French headquarters in India. The capture of Pondicherry was a significant blow to French ambitions and marked the beginning of the end for French colonial aspirations in India. The Treaty of Paris, signed in 1763, formally ended the war and marked the end of French imperial ambitions in India. This treaty was a landmark agreement that reshaped the colonial landscape not just in India but across the world. France was allowed to retain certain trading posts, but was barred from fortifying them or maintaining troops. These restrictions ensured that France could no longer pose a military threat to British interests in the region.
This effectively reduced the French to a marginal role in Indian affairs, leaving the British as the dominant European power. The British now had a free hand to expand their influence and control over the Indian subcontinent, setting the stage for the establishment of the British Raj.
Section 5. British Triumph. Factors behind their success. Several factors contributed to the British victory over the French in the Carnatic Wars, shaping the course of history.
The British East India Company, with its superior financial resources and efficient administration, could field larger armies and sustain prolonged campaigns effectively.
The British Navy's dominance in the Indian Ocean proved crucial, allowing them to control trade routes and cut off French supply lines completely.
Furthermore, the British displayed greater adaptability in adopting Indian military practices and forging alliances with local rulers, enhancing their influence. The emergence of visionary leaders like Robert Clive and Sir Eyre Coote also played a key role in the British triumph.
Their strategic brilliance, military acumen, and understanding of local politics gave the British a significant edge over their French counterparts, ensuring their success. Section 6. The legacy of conflict shaping colonial India. The Carnatic Wars had a profound and lasting impact on India.
The British victory paved the way for their unchecked expansion across the subcontinent, leading to the establishment of British colonial rule.
The wars also led to the disintegration of the Mughal Empire, as local rulers, weakened by internal strife and the European intervention, became increasingly unable to resist British encroachment.
The conflict also witnessed the consolidation of the British East India Company's power. From a trading company, it evolved into a formidable political and military force, effectively becoming the de facto ruler of large parts of India.
The Carnatic Wars marked a turning point in Indian history, ushering in an era of British dominance that would last for nearly 2 centuries. Section 7. Conclusion. The enduring impact of the Carnatic Wars. The Carnatic Wars stand as a testament to the complex interplay of global politics, economic ambition, and military strategy in shaping the course of history. These conflicts, fought thousands of miles from the shores of Europe, had a profound and lasting impact on the Indian subcontinent. They marked the beginning of the end for French imperial dreams in India and paved the way for the rise of British colonialism. The legacy of these wars continues to shape India today. They left an indelible mark on the country's political, economic, and social landscape, the echoes of which can still be felt centuries later. The Carnatic Wars serve as a reminder of the enduring impact of colonial encounters and the complex interplay of forces that have shaped the modern world.